eyes for a second and picture this. You wake up in the morning, sunlight spilling through the curtains, and as you reach for your phone, the first thing you see changes everything. Bitcoin has smashed through $117,000. Ethereum is roaring past $4,600, unstoppable. XRP, it's holding firm at $38, steady as a heartbeat in a market alive with billions of dollars in fresh inflows. And in that moment, it hits you. This isn't just another bull market bounce. It's not another temporary pump. This is the inflection point, the global reset moment where institutions, sovereign wealth funds, and even entire nations are shifting into digital assets with conviction. The world's money machine is rewiring itself. And for once, you're not watching from the sidelines. You're already in position, ready to ride the biggest financial wave of our lifetime. This isn't financial advice. It's a wake-up call because the headlines are coming faster than anyone can even process. Ripple isn't just dabbling in innovation anymore. It's going all in on becoming part of the U.S. banking system itself. A full U.S. banking charter, an OCC license, and the crown jewel of them all, a FedMaster account. These are not small moves. These are chess pieces being placed for the long game. Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, has been crystal clear. Ripple isn't trying to dodge regulation like so many others. It's embracing it head-on, building bridges between traditional finance and the decentralized world that will redefine how money moves across the planet. Banks, businesses, and even governments will soon have direct access to faster, cheaper, and more secure transactions, all powered by XRP. While some crypto projects are still fighting regulators in courtrooms, Ripple is sitting at the table with Washington speaking the language of institutions. That is a paradigm shift. It's not about guessing anymore. It's about understanding structure, building wealth with strategy, moving with clarity when everyone else is chasing headlines, because the market doesn't wait for anyone, and right now it's moving fast. Ripple isn't pursuing these licenses for show. An OCC license and FedMaster account would position Ripple shoulder to shoulder with traditional U.S. banks, giving it the power to issue products, manage liquidity, and settle directly with the Federal Reserve itself. Combine that with partnerships with titans like BNY Mellon, Franklin Templeton, and DBS, and we're witnessing a financial transformation. This isn't crypto trying to be finance anymore. This is finance transforming into crypto, evolving, adapting, merging, and that shift is happening faster than most people realize. Now layer that with the launch of the first U.S. spot XRP ETF. RexShares Osprey product hit the market and exploded out of the gate. $24 million traded in the first 90 minutes, $37 million by the end of day one, outpacing every other ETF debut of 2025. Bloomberg's analysts confirmed it. The best opening day performance for any ETF this year. XRP has officially crossed into institutional territory. Legitimacy, liquidity, mainstream access. This is what investors have been waiting for since the beginning, but it's only the beginning because while XRP is stepping into the institutional spotlight, Coinbase is quietly changing the entire financial experience for retail users. They've just integrated DeFi lending directly into their app. No more confusing wallets, no third-party logins, just open Coinbase, hold USDC, and you're suddenly earning yields of up to 10.8%. In traditional banking, you're lucky to get 1%, maybe 4% on a high-yield account. But Coinbase just gave everyday users double-digit returns with a single tap. And guess who's panicking? The banks. The Bank Policy Institute has already complained that stablecoin yields threaten the traditional banking model. Translation, they're terrified. Because if ordinary people can hold digital dollars, earn 10% interest, and still swipe a debit card like normal, why would anyone settle for pennies in a checking account? Crypto isn't just speculation anymore. It's competition. And it's eating into the $187 billion annual fee machine that banks have enjoyed for decades. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Ripple is positioning itself as a regulated bank. XRP ETFs are pulling record-breaking volume. Coinbase is giving regular people access to DeFi yields. And Larry Fink, the same man who once mocked Bitcoin, now says Bitcoin could soar to $500,000 to $700,000 if sovereign wealth funds allocate just a small percentage of their reserves. He's already having those conversations with them. Michigan's state legislature is pushing for a 10% Bitcoin allocation for public funds. Institutions aren't coming. They're already here. The inflows prove it. Bitcoin ETFs pulled in over $500 million last week. Ethereum added another $326 million, and now XRP has joined the party with tens of millions flowing in on day one. Trillions move slowly, then all at once. We're entering the all-at-once phase. Technically, everything is lining up. XRP's momentum waves are glowing green across short, medium, and long time frames. Resistance sits at 315, 330, and a breakout at 355. A short-term reset could come, but every past consolidation has led to explosive highs. Traders are even watching moon cycles, yes, literal moon cycles, because historically, XRP's movements have synced with lunar phases. Right now, it's riding a full moon surge, but a new moon is around the corner. Whether we see a pause or an acceleration, the setup is undeniable. The energy building here isn't random. It's coordinated, deliberate, and primed. Meanwhile, Ripple's network of partnerships keeps expanding. Tokenized money market funds, new stablecoin frameworks, and cross-border rails are being built in real time. This isn't one catalyst. It's a web of them, all converging toward a single outcome. XRP becoming the backbone of a new financial infrastructure. Wall Street, Washington, DeFi, all merging through the same bridge. But beneath all this innovation lies something few talk about: the manipulation. The psychological and mechanical control that has shaped XRP's price for years. It doesn't move like other assets because it's not treated like other assets. It's been targeted. Every rally is followed by a perfectly engineered dump, not by chance, but by design, because control isn't just about money, it's about behavior. Think back to every major XRP rally. Retail gets euphoric. Social media fills with moonshot predictions. Then, just as excitement peaks, a flood of sell orders crashes the price. Not just a dip, a collapse. This isn't volatility, it's conditioning. They pump to excite you, they dump to break you. The pattern is the same every time: pump, dump, despair, over and over until you stop believing. That's when you become easy to control. Liquidity pools are the battlefield. Whales set traps around obvious levels, sellers 150, 2 seller, watching as retail piles in, then unloading into that liquidity, triggering liquidations, and scooping it all back up cheaper. It's a brutal but brilliant game, and it works. Even the timing isn't random. Notice how XRP rallies often align with big headlines. Lawsuit wins, ETF rumors, government news. Whales know the rhythm. They front-run the story, pump the price to validate the hype, then sell when retail FOMO kicks in. The news becomes bait. The same thing happens in media narratives. XRP rarely gets positive coverage. Bitcoin and Ethereum get the spotlight. XRP gets silence, or worse, negativity. It's a security. It's dead. But those headlines serve a purpose, and they create fear. And when the fear peaks, the price quietly reverses upward, because that's when insiders buy. FUD isn't failure, it's camouflage. Exchanges play their part too. They throttle liquidity, create thin order books, and exaggerate volatility to trigger emotions. You've seen it. Random 15% spikes followed by instant dumps. It's not natural, it's manufactured, and it's meant to exhaust you. But here's the power of awareness. Once you see it, you stop being prey. You stop chasing green candles, stop panic selling red ones, and start focusing on the end game, utility. Because here's the truth. The goal isn't to suppress XRP forever. It's to suppress it long enough for the right hands to accumulate. Because when true adoption hits, when XRP becomes the bridge currency for global finance, the manipulation ends. Utility always wins. But by then, most retail traders will have given up. They'll have sold at the bottom, believing the narrative was true. That's the point of the game, to shake you out before the real move begins. That's why XRP was targeted by the SEC in the first place. It wasn't about clarity. It was about control. Years of uncertainty to slow adoption and allow the big players to move in quietly while the public looked away. Now look deeper. Ripple never launched like a typical crypto. There was no mining, no fair distribution. The supply was created upfront, held in escrow, and released systematically. Critics call that centralization, but in reality, it was strategy. Ripple wasn't focused on pleasing short-term traders. It was building a network effect for institutional utility. During the darkest moments of the SEC lawsuit, when retail fled, on-chain data showed heavy institutional accumulation. The smart money wasn't leaving. It was loading up. Every dump, every delisting, every scare tactic, all designed to make you sell what they're buying. And here's where geopolitics enters the game. XRP isn't just another digital token. It's a weapon in the race to control the plumbing of the global economy. SWIFT, the decades-old backbone of cross-border payments, is slow, expensive, and outdated. Ripple's technology is faster, cheaper, and scalable. Governments and central banks see it, but they're not going to let retail own the majority of a system that could become essential to international finance. They'll regulate, suppress, and accumulate until they control it. Only then will they flip the switch. That's why the SEC case dragged on for years. That's why US regulators gave Ethereum a pass but hammered XRP. It's not about fairness, it's about control. So where does that leave us? Right in the middle of history. XRP's journey has never been about short-term profits. It's been about long-term positioning, liquidity throttling, media manipulation, coordinated cycles, all tools to delay the inevitable. But inevitability can only be delayed, never denied. Because when real utility takes hold, when XRP starts moving trillions across borders for banks and governments, no amount of suppression will matter. That's when the flip happens. The same media that mocked it will glorify it. The same institutions that sold will start buying. And by then, most of retail will be gone. The uncomfortable truth is this. You have to decide which game you're playing, the trader's game full of emotion and reaction, or the conviction game full of patience and understanding. Because manipulation can only destroy those who don't see it. The ones who do, they accumulate quietly. They hold through chaos. And when the switch flips, they're the ones who win. Because no force on earth can stop real adoption, and XRP is solving one of the biggest pain points in finance: friction in cross-border payments. When that solution reaches critical mass, the system changes forever. The manipulators know it. The institutions know it. The governments know it. The only question is, will you still be holding when they flip the switch? If the future isn't coming, it's already here. The only question left is whether you'll recognize it before everyone else does.